And it's great to have with us Chanda Kochhar from ICICI Bank. Ma'am, it's great to be with us, and also in a year when women and women leadership is such a big subject here at Davos. I know Christine Lagarde was saying that she wished that Narendra Modi had made a comment or two about that also in his speech. Before I ask you about the Indian economy and the rest of that, what did you make of the Prime Minister's speech and the general overall mood towards India right now?
Well, I think very, very positive, the mood towards India, the response to the speech. I think the great part was that he really took India to the next level. He was not just talking about India and invest and manufacture and so on, talking about the world issues, and linking it to the fact that India has some inherent philosophies that can help tackle those issues. India has some direction and action that can help tackle those issues. So I think it took India to kind of the next trajectory.
Right. Now, when you're talking to your counterparts, especially overseas, we sometimes have a clear view as to what all of us as Indians think. When you're talking to your counterparts, what's their sense of where India is at right now? What would be, we know all the positives, obviously, the opportunity. What are some of the concerns that they may be saying to you in private?
Well, I think first of all, the opportunity itself is a big thing, and that's really on the top of their mind. Well, as far as concerns are concerned, I think in that sense, India is directionally moving in those directions when, ease of doing business, I think, gives them a lot of comfort because they watch that in a big way. The entire resolution mechanism, the whole IBC and NCLT, I think that gives them a comfort that the country is setting in place a resolution mechanism. I think we have to all see how the whole thing pans out. So I think directionally also they are seeing that a lot of changes that are happening structurally are really transforming India in the right direction.
Right. The questions we are seeing about, whether the middle class is there, whether there's enough economic activity taking place at the grassroots level. You obviously have your finger on the pulse from the banking sector. How is the economy looking to you?
Lots of, on the ground high frequency indicators which are actually appearing quite positive. So if you look at the consumption, the entire consumption of non-durables, I think that's actually going up pretty well. Two-wheeler sales are doing well. Car sales are doing okay. So I think that's kind of on the consumption side, and including on top of that, the personal credit therefore is continuing to grow at a healthy level. Then if you look at the industrial side, I think industrial side again, capacity utilizations of steel, cement, all those have gone up. PMI index has gone up. The credit to industry also, which had turned negative at one point, has become positive. So I think that's on the industrial side. But more so, I think the most important and the striking factor that at least we see as a financial services conglomerate is this whole financialization of savings and the formalization of the economy. And I think we are all undermining the long-term positive effect of that. What I mean by financialization of savings is that, the last 18 months, the amount of money that has flown into formal savings, which were otherwise not part of the formal economy, you look at bank deposits, life insurance and mutual fund combined. Yeah. In the last 18 months, India has added $400 billion to these financial savings. It's almost equal to the GDP of Thailand. So that is the kind of money that is coming into the formal economy.
And is it only coming in from a small section of society, or is it more broad?
It's actually quite broad-based. I mean, who thought that the deposit base of even the financial inclusion, Jan Dhan accounts, would cross 70,000 crores. So I think it's coming from everywhere. But the point also is that it's also getting, therefore, a little bit distributed, bank deposit, mutual funds, life insurance industry. So the economy, the savings are getting more formal and financial. They are actually getting more spread across the financial services. And I think because of that, you've seen also the capital markets. I mean, the activity that you've seen in the capital markets, the entire primary issuances, such a large amount. If you look at only IPOs
going into mutual funds.
Yeah, but yes, and then if you look at only IPOs, what we've done in these 10 months is larger than what was done in the past 5 years combined.
So demonetization impact, is it out of the banking system by now to the extent that it was?
In fact, I would think that, the flow of the money is now actually in the financial services sector.
So to that extent, that benefit is now playing itself out now at this stage.
Right. Yes.
All right. Just wanted to, the budget is coming up. Any thoughts that you're having on that? What would you like to hear, not like to hear? That's what we'll get a view from you.
I think, you know, we should continue our movement in the same direction as we have been, that is, you know, making business simpler, easier and so on, and also focusing on things that actually generate investment, that generate a multiplier impact in the economy and create employment. So I would say things like affordable housing, things like agriculture, nothing is new, but I think these are the areas to focus on.
Right, and you know, if you are to look at some of the issues that have come out about banking NPAs and banking loans in general, and the fact that that's choking private sector investment, the fact that there are so much indebtedness about companies. Some even have been saying that it's a systemic risk to the Indian banking system. Are those fears now, what can be done to really address them fully? A bad bank concept or what?
I think overall the Indian banking system is very strong. I mean, it has shown its resilience even in the most difficult times of the global economic crisis, and continues to, in that sense, be governed by very prudent guidelines.
Yeah.
Yes, NPAs arose because of the way economy went through, came down from a 12% growth rate to a much lower growth rate, commodity prices went down, delays in implementation of projects and so on and so forth. But even when you look at today, I mean, you know, the problem is that we all tend to get focused on what is the NPA and have they been recognized. I think from recognition, we should move our focus to resolution and recovery. That's where you get the recovery from.
But is that happening? Are there any signs of that?
Yeah, so I think this whole NCLT thing, I mean, you know, a lot of cases have been referred to. They are moving at the right pace. Yes, we haven't yet gone through a full cycle of any one large case to see the whole cycle complete. But, you know, there is no reason to believe that, you know, the resolutions will not happen. I think at least it brings about a timeliness in resolution, brings about a judicial cover which enables banks to decide. So, I think, you know, while one cannot say what is the kind of recovery and what is the kind of values that you'd get of the assets, we still have to watch that space. But I think directionally we are moving, you know, well.
So, any one specific thing you would like to hear the finance minister saying?
Well, I think as we speak, he's probably talking about the bank recapitalization and the structure. But no, I think we should all focus on, as I see from the banking services, banking industry, one is the positives, and let's not lose sight of that. That's the entire retail side, consumption side, technology side, innovation side, payment side. The other side is let's focus on resolution, because that needs to be worked out. So we need to focus on both the things and not get burdened by one or the other.
Chanda Kochhar, always such a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.